Well, hello everyone. Welcome to PopCultX episode 86, our Christmas holiday movie review special, our slash end of year episode slash what else you want to call it? End of season 2, if we do have seasons episode. So yeah, welcome everyone to PopCultX. Gabe, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. It's not snowing inside my house, and I'm not outside. This is a virtual background. That's why I can wear a t-shirt with the random snow behind me.
Yeah.
So, what did you watch anything new this week or explore any new comic books? You know, I haven't asked you about that recently. Comic books. Any pickups for you this month that you maybe haven't had a chance to speak about?
So last week, what I mainly bought were variant covers by Peach Momoko, who is a Japanese artist that does variant covers for various. Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what I've been doing. Has been getting all the. She has a ton of variant covers, but I really like her art style, and so I've been picking up a lot of stuff that I don't typically read, but because I like her cover work, I buy it for the cover. So definitely have bought that. But I bought some back issues of Philadelphia since
nice.
we had, some guests on the podcast that shared with us their writing and artistry. So there was a couple of covers that I really liked that I was fortunate enough to buy for $1.
Oh, cool.
So I found them. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. So really into the artwork right now more than storylines when it comes to some particular issues. But that's what I've been doing.
Very cool. Well, I picked up the Deadpool I just showed you, of course, the Peach Momoko variant cover. I saw that and I was like, oh, got to get that one. That's really cool. Picked up the new Batman Spawn issue. Number 1, the Todd McFarlane, the crossover. Haven't read it yet, but it looks pretty cool. They have like 20, I think, variant covers. There's a lot of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. And I was found at a comic book store, which is like my new comic book store. I'll give them a shout out. Atomic Comics. I found the Wolverine Old Man Logan issue that I've been looking for everywhere.
Oh, nice.
The Mark Miller run. It just happened to be in one of their back issue boxes. And I was like, wow, when you find something that you've been looking for, it just appears there. It's like, cool. So I was happy to get that. The new issue of Hell to Pay by Charles, I think his name is Soule. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Soul or whatever. It's really fun. That's a good new series that's out. Issue 2 came out. So I've been going to grab that. Lots of different, not the main 2 comic book companies, DC or Marvel. I've been reading a lot of Dark Horse, Image Comics, Boom Studios. So, and I've been finding that the more creator controlled comics they get a little more, I guess, leeway with their storytelling maybe, but it's just, I've been finding those very great.
Yeah, I'm kind of going through or perusing the new releases that are going to be coming out tomorrow. Some really cool artwork, particularly on the new issue of Catwoman. They have some really great artwork on some of the variant covers that they have. I've also been collecting Harley Quinn's run that they're pushing out right now. And then as far as Marvel, and Gargoyles. I don't know if you were a fan.
Heard of it.
So that was a cartoon that came out when we were much younger. Dynamite actually put out this new Gargoyle series. So I picked up the first issue. It looks like they have a couple reprints that they got in, but I got a variant cover for Doug. He's into the Gargoyles.
Oh, nice.
He has all of the NECA figures that were released last year or this year. I think some of them still haven't been released yet. And what else? So I'm looking here through Marvel and some Avengers stuff is coming out that there's a Black Panther Momoko cover that I'm probably going to get just to add to my collection. Of her stuff. She has so many variant covers. It's kind of impossible to get all of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Mary Jane and Black Cat cover that she did. I'm only getting the ones that kind of speak particularly to me, like characters that I really like. Or if the cover is just like so good that I have to get it. But if it's a comic or a character that I don't really particularly like, then I don't pick it up. Even though I like her work, I like the character. But yeah, so I did get Photon last week. Did you get
Oh,
that?
okay. No, I
Yeah,
haven't gotten that.
it is a character of Monica Rambeau that
Mhm.
is from Captain Marvel, the iteration of her that she at one point is Captain Marvel, Photon,
Right.
goes through a whole bunch of different things. So I picked that up. There was a really cool variant cover that I got for that one too. That was kind of neat. Um, so yeah, that's what I've been checking out on comics. Speaking of comics in the comic book world, right now DC is kind of all over the place with their movies and casting. At one
Mhm.
point, Henry Cavill was supposed to be coming back as Superman. Now they're saying he's not coming back as Superman, which is very disappointing for me because I think he happens to be the best Superman ever. They're saying that Gal Gadot is not going to have a Wonder Woman 3, which is insane to me because the first one was so good.
Yeah.
And she is, I can't say that she's my favorite Wonder Woman because I love Linda Carter. But she's did a really good job of
Mhm.
her representation of Wonder Woman. Black Adam apparently is not going to be coming back. The Rock is mad or not, not following DC or Discovery Plus or all these
That's
different.
I laugh at that when I hear news like that. It's like, oh, The Rock stopped following
Yeah.
such and such on Instagram. It's like, and I don't know. That
Well,
to me, it's
our culture has been kind of reverted back to like junior high school. Like so and so's not talking to that person. It's like literally like 50-year-olds saying, oh, they unfollowed that person. They must dislike them now. And like, oh
right,
my God,
right.
unfollowed. Like Kyle Richards from the Housewives of Beverly Hills unfollowed Nene Leakes from Atlanta. Oh my God, what does that mean? It's like, one, who's going on everyone's friend list to see who they're following?
Right, right.
It's crazy. But so yeah, the DC is just kind of like all over the place. Like, I don't know what's going on. They're I am really kind of lost as to what their plans are.
I
I
know.
don't like rebooting stuff just to reboot, especially when there was some good choices that they made. I thought Wonder Woman particularly was really
Mhm.
good. The sequel wasn't that great, but sometimes the second sequel, the sequel is not that great, but the third one in a trilogy kind of makes up for it. So I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah.
disappointed about that. I
Well,
really want to see her back.
I mean, there's not. James Gunn tweeted that out saying that I never said she wasn't coming back. So there's no, maybe they killed Wonder Woman 3 with Patty Jenkins at the helm, but
Yeah.
maybe she will be in a different storyline. So maybe it's not just her movie. I don't know. Because I know James Gunn and Peter, what's his name? Savaron, I think, the
Yeah.
new heads of DC Studios, they have it. I think they have their whole map out now of what's happening with, like you said, a younger Superman. It's not going to be a total origin story. It's just going to be a younger version, which is why Henry Cavill can't play him, I guess. But I think James Gunn has done enough positive work, I guess, to put it in a weird way, for me to trust what he's doing. I've liked Peacemaker, his decisions there. I liked what he did with Suicide Squad. I like what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. So he's earned that trust, I think, from the fandoms, I guess, and he
Yeah, but
should.
all of those characters were like D-list characters.
And he made
Superman
them,
and Wonder Woman are like A-list. Like
yeah, yeah,
with Batman, they're like the Holy Trinity. So I don't want some weird treatment or some like weird storyline. They like those were the two that weren't, the casting was not broken. Like Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, perfect.
Mhm.
Like just make a good movie with him. Like that's all we need.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm really disappointed. Like Wonder Woman 1 is like one of the best superhero films I think that has
Yeah,
come
it's
out.
really good. Yeah.
It's in my top 5 for sure. So yeah, I will keep hope alive, I guess, but
It's
lately some
hope.
of the
It's the
films,
season. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not excited about Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantum Mania or whatever the hell that is. What else is coming out that Guardians of the Galaxy? It's just it's not exciting. I want to
Mm.
get characters that I care about. I never really like the Ant-Man one was entertaining,
Yeah.
but to give him all these films, like, do we really need that? Like he's getting a third film, but Wonder Woman isn't?
Well, Marvel DC. What can I tell you?
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying. I understand, and I think maybe who knows? Maybe we will get a different Wonder Woman movie helmed by someone else.
yeah.
I think they're going to release more information in 2023 about what their roadmap to success is. So
I better hear about this on January 1st.
Gabe demands it January
Yeah.
1st. Well, I did watch a different movie on over the weekend, and I want to kind of quiz you because I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I thought it was I really enjoyed it. I know there's some controversy around the director, and maybe that will help focus you on what movie it is. But just the cast was just outstanding. And I'll read just a few names. So Christian Bale,
All right.
Margot Robbie,
Mm-hmm.
John David Washington,
Mm-hmm.
Anya Taylor-Joy,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Rock, Taylor Swift, Mike Myers, Timothy Oliphant, Zoe Saldana, Rami Malek, Robert De Niro, and those are just the main headliners.
Hmm.
Any guess?
I know what film it is. I
Okay,
forget the movie. I want to say it's Babylon, but that's the new one that
that's
Margot
the new
Robbie
one,
is.
right? So
Uh,
this is also a period piece, and I'll give you the brief plot line. It's in the 1930s. Three friends witness a murder, are framed for it, and uncover one of the most outrageous plots in American history.
okay, so it's Amsterdam, right?
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. Um, so I'm gonna, I'll wait for you to tell me whether or not it's good or not. But I do have to start off with the fact that I greatly dislike Christian Bale.
Okay.
He is, along with Russell Crowe, like two actors that I think take themselves way too seriously and treat people like crap. I have a cousin that's like a Hollywood, in Hollywood, and she mentioned Christian Bale, and I said that he's a real jerk, and she said that he's actually really nice. So maybe I'm off, off the
Well,
mark with this one, but
I think
he's a great actor.
there
Mhm.
was one part where he was yelling at like some lighting grip person, right? I think that's what it was.
Curator.
Yeah, and I think that was where he got that knock for being a jerk from, and rightfully so if he did act that way.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, watch the movie.
All right. So what did you like about it? What's so great
It's
about it?
the storytelling, the actors, and just the acting in it. It was just phenomenal. Christian Bale, even though I might not like him, did a great job. I thought he was just Oscar worthy for that role. It was really well done. John David Washington, who I didn't know until like yesterday, is a son of Denzel Washington. He did a
Oh,
great
really?
job as well. Yeah, I didn't know that. Because there's like this whole big thing of nepo babies trending and whatnot. So
Yeah.
that was part of it. I was like, don't get me started on that. I mean, I could care less about who's related to who and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's a whole big other thing. Um, Margot Robbie is just phenomenal. She is such a star in everything she touches. So yeah, just for those three, go, well, maybe for those two for you, go watch it. Mike Myers plays a smaller role, De Niro plays a smaller role, but it's just it's really cool. I mean, and they're what it touches on. It's set in 1930. It's after World War One. Christian Bale plays a doctor, a veteran who had some injuries that made him meet up with Margot Robbie and whatnot. But he's now a doctor in New York City who's helping other vets for free, basically, and helping heal them with their wounds and whatnot. So it's really cool if that was just the basis of the story. But that's everything is built upon that. So it's really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I'd watch it again. I mean, it's just I really liked it.
Do they? So it's 1930s. obviously one of the main characters is a black man. Does that
Mhm.
come into play, or do they kind of gloss over the fact that they're living in 1930s America?
Comes into play a little bit. They don't directly say get into the racism part of it, but it also is part of that there. So you can the undertones of it there, and fascism with the rising movement of Hitler and Mussolini are also in the undertones there of what the whole plot line is.
Mhm.
So I don't want to ruin it for you, but that's part of it there. So yeah, it is touched upon. It isn't blatant out there in the forefront, but it is touched upon.
You said Chris Rock is in it as well?
Yeah, he plays a minor supporting character, one of the veterans, one of the friends there.
Yeah. I always find it interesting when you have actors that begin their career as comedians, but then really are able to stretch out and show their talent in dramatic roles, and they're typically really good.
Yeah.
First person that comes to mind is Robin Williams, Billy Crystal. I mean, there's a ton of great comedian actors that all, that also great dramatic actors. So I was curious if Chris Rock was able to pull that off as well.
Yeah, he did a commendable job. I mean, it wasn't Chris Rock from like the movie Grown Ups. It would, because this movie isn't just a pure drama. I mean, it has hints of, not, I wouldn't say comedy, but it has humorous light points to it as well. So it was really well done. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Cool. I'll have to watch it. I'll add it to my list. Lately, I've been watching a lot of older movies that are not necessarily trending right now, but are probably popular because it's that time of the year. So the other night, I watched It's a Wonderful Life, probably for the first time all the way through. I'm not like a super huge Christmas fan, so I had my Christmas hat on earlier today, but it's really good. It's surprising because some of the themes in there I didn't expect, as far as like a young man who has these dreams that because of certain circumstances has to give up on his fantasy life, and it was just really real. I was like, that's kind of crazy that they like tackled that back then and depicted that sort of midlife crisis of a guy who has a bunch of kids and is unhappy with his life and not satisfied. And so I didn't expect that. I thought, I don't know what I thought. I knew that he was like depressed and he was like, oh, I wish I was never here, kind of a thing like that. Just from pop culture knowledge, knew that that's what the plot was about, but I didn't know the build up to that. So it was kind of interesting. I'm actually surprised they've never really done a remake. They've had similar things like that, like Scrooge and all that. But it would be interesting to see a modern day take of that. I think that a lot of people would relate to that, especially in our generation, of like our hopes of, having our future be one particular thing, but life kind of just throws you a wrench and you go down another path. So it was really that I found that to be more interesting than I thought it was going to be. And it was good. I can certainly see why it's a holiday classic. It has its funny moments. So yeah, I watched that. So I was kind of happy to see that. And I was watching right now before we got on Gremlins, which is another classic for me. I just stopped at the part where Corey Feldman accidentally spills water on Gizmo and the evil gremlins come about. So it was it's a classic. I love Gremlins. I was probably 6 or 7 when it came out. I had a Mogwai, I had Gizmo that like I everywhere. And I also, oddly enough, had Stripe, the gremlin, in gremlin form. And that was one of my other favorite toys. It was like the opposite of Gizmo, like soft and fluffy, was like made out of plastic and had like the claws and like the mohawk. And, I loved it as equally as I did Gizmo.
Yeah. Gremlins is a classic Christmas movie or anti-Christmas movie, if you want to call it that. It wasn't until recently, I think, that it actually dawned on me that it took place during Christmas, which is weird because it's set like in Christmas Eve, right? And it was really good. I mean, I remember watching it as a kid. I enjoyed watching the gremlins get chopped up in the kitchen and then blown up in the microwave. I think that's probably my favorite part of the whole movie, when the mom
Yeah.
sticks them in the microwave and boom. But yeah, that's on my list of like my favorite Christmas films. Actually, those two that you just mentioned are on my list.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's a Wonderful Life. I saw that last year, I think, for the very first time all the way through, and like you, was surprised about not only the scope of the movie, because it starts from him as a kid all the way till we see it at the end where he's finally coming to terms with his life and everything. It's just like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was just going to be a small segment right there from where he's about to jump off the bridge. So,
Yeah.
but it was really well done. And to say they don't make films like that anymore might not be unrealistic to say.
Yeah.
So, but Jimmy Stewart's just
Another
fantastic.
character though that kind of cracked me up was the like sort of town harlot Violet.
Mm.
And I thought that it kind of, I always find it kind of hypocritical when you see older people say, you know, nowadays, you know, these kids or these young women don't, and it's like, wait, grandma, you were a whore back in the day. Like, let's not forget, let's not be you know, revisionist of history. Because that's basically what she was, right? She was like an
Yeah.
easy girl
Mm-hmm.
that kind of flirted with everyone in town and had her eyes set on the main character. I over the weekend I was at the Coronado, the Hotel del Coronado, and was looking at the old pictures, and I found one that kind of spoke to the same kind of thing about, you know, people remembering the good old times in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
It was a group of military guys, and one of the military guys, you know, they're all with women, they're all in uniform. One of them has his hand out, and his wedding ring is visible in the picture, and the young lady that he's with isn't wearing a wedding ring.
Ah.
And so I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting that they captured that moment in time of these married women, possibly on leave with these young ladies at the Hotel Del. And yeah, the good old times.
Okay, the good old
good, innocent people. Not so much.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I thought was hilarious was they were playing, you know, Some Like It Hot was filmed there famously.
Mm-hmm.
So they had Marilyn Monroe memorabilia and Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon. And Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis are famously in drag in that movie. That's like part of the whole plot.
Yeah.
And so those same old people that thought that it was hilarious that they dressed in drag are like the grandparents today that are like, oh, protesting drag people reading to kids, and their kids are protesting. And it's like, wait, so why was it okay for your generation for like Marilyn Monroe to be like bosom hanging out and Jack Lemmon in drag, and now Kim Kardashian can't be with her bosom hanging out and our people can't be in drag? Like, sounds pretty hypocritical to me. I don't know. It's kind of funny.
No, yeah, funny, not in a humorous way, right?
Yeah, funny in a like pull my hair out, frustrated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think one of the most famous lines came from the very end of that movie, right? Nobody's perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when that movie is great. Some Like It Hot. I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Christmas films. So let's get back on track here.
Yeah.
We did put out a poll.
That Gremlins and
so I mentioned Gremlins.
Two movies that you would add on your list. What else is on your list that you want to watch this year?
Well, on my list, I already watched Spirited. I already watched what else is on my list?
Did you say Spirited?
Spirited, the new one with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell that I mentioned last week. It made it onto my list because I enjoyed it so much. Just a different take on it.
I thought, wasn't there a Disney cartoon called Spirited
with like the horse?
Horses? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I just thought of. And I was like, I didn't know that was a Christmas movie.
It is. Didn't you know?
Your Christmas horse.
Yes, the Christmas horse. Scrooged is on my list. The famous one with Bill Murray. Watched that already, and that's just one of those movies that you watch once a year, just because, you know, it's gonna make you laugh. It's gonna make you get you into that Christmas spirit. And I remember I was hearing, I don't remember where it was, who was talking about it, but someone said that that's when Bill Murray really became an actor, was during that course of that movie, because before he was always in an ensemble cast, right? With like Ghostbusters or the Caddyshack and other stuff like that. But in this one, he had to, carry it all on his shoulders because he was the focal point of it. And he was able to his very end speech wasn't just, the comedic monologue. It was a feeling and how he gives that feeling, and he tells everybody what his feelings is. And that's when people said that's when he became an actor. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and kind of goes back to what I was talking about, comedic actors that can pull off dramatic roles. I think he did a really good job of that in there and still maintain the humor in his performance. I think that is one of my favorite movies. Who's the actress that plays one of the ghosts of Christmas? Is it
Carol
President?
Kane?
Yeah, love her in that
She's
role.
awesome.
So
she hated that role. I think, as I read, she
really?
didn't like it. Yeah, she didn't like it, but she was so great in it.
I wonder if and I was going to bring this up. I wonder if she didn't like it because Bill Murray is famously an asshole to other actors on set. So I would be really curious to see if that's why she hated it.
Maybe.
Because Gina Davis, I think, brought up, what movie was Gina Davis with Bill Murray? I don't know. I can't remember, but she said that he was being an asshole to someone, and she was like sort of surprised, and she like confronted him and said like, yeah, you would never do that, so like I won't ever chastise you like that. And she was like really put aback by him saying that. And that it took her a while to kind of come to terms that he intimidated her in that way. And also in Charlie's Angel, he famously like was combative with Lucy Liu and like made her life living hell. But he comes off so likable in movies. It's really funny. It's weird.
Well, he's an actor, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we did put out a poll for our viewers to, submit their favorite holiday movies. And I think it was really cool that a lot of the people that did submit it were friends of PopCultX, so people who we've had on the show before. So I thought that was really cool. So like author Jeff Marriott, who wrote Blood and Gold, the Joaquin Murrieta story, along with many others in many other genres, he gave me a list that was basically what he said was more classic Christmas stories. So like White Christmas, Miracle on 34th Street, A Christmas Story, Home Alone, and Elf. Now, I've seen all of those except for Miracle on 34th Street. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that list. I enjoy that. I've enjoyed Home Alone. I think it's become a classic Christmas movie, although I guess, is there a line you can draw between a movie set during Christmas time and a Christmas movie?
I think that what saves Home Alone and makes it a Christmas movie is the sentiment of like Christmas is about family. And and that, like at first he was like, oh, I get to do all these cool things and I am home alone and I have my independence, but then he really missed his family. And at the end of the day, like he really wanted to be with him for the holidays. So I think that's what kind of brings it back to
makes sense.
And from that list, I would have to say that that's probably my favorite from his list. I think I've seen parts of Elf, but I'm not like a huge fan of like the doofus, like elf kind of style.
Well, he's not a doofus. He was just raised by elves, right?
Sure. But I do love what's the actress Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah,
I love her. So that is a classic. But I would say from that list, Home Alone would get my vote for best Christmas movie. What other responses did we get?
So we also got one from actress who we had on the show before, Chelsea Edmondson. She said Gremlins, Die Hard, Home Alone as well, It's a Wonderful Life, and The Santa Claus. So those are some pretty good movies. I mean, 3 of them we already talked about, so that's good. Die Hard is one of those anti-Christmas Christmas movies. So it's set during a Christmas party, with Bruce Willis saving the day. And it, I think, gives one of the most famous lines, the yippee-ki-yay, mother, which is great. And I need to go rewatch that movie, actually. I think I watched it when I was a teenager and never since then. So maybe I would enjoy it more now as an adult.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are good choices. I like those.
Yeah. Um, I would say from those choices, I would still say Home Alone. Maybe Home Alone is my favorite Christmas movie. I don't know.
Maybe it is.
Yeah. Any other option?
We got a few other options. So Kelsey Laurie, who was a stunt woman who we've had on the show before, she said Trading Places, which is an interesting choice because I didn't even think about that as a Christmas movie, but it is. White Christmas, Holiday Inn, another famous movie. Home Alone again, and Christmas Vacation. With Chevy Chase. That's a great movie. I'm planning on watching that probably tomorrow night. I enjoy that. Once I can build up the stomach enough to handle Randy Quaid for a long enough period of time, I will watch it. But it's a very fun movie, you know, another goofball, like you said, who it's just
I love that movie. Like I have, I guess, sentimental value with that one. I do watch that one frequently. We were just watching it. Probably one of the biggest scenes because I love Beverly D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
I love Juliette Lewis, who's in it. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus was like, that was one of her first like major So there's like a lot of really cool women in that film. And then of course like Chevy Chase is like the doofus dad that like nothing goes right for him. So yeah, it's just like it's a really good movie. Probably a classic. There is like a piece of trivia that Doug brought up to me is when Chevy Chase is like putting up the Christmas lights, the house next door that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in is a house that Daniel Glover lives in Lethal Weapon.
Oh, really? Neat.
On the movie studio lot. And yeah, that
he's sitting on the toilet and the bomb's there and he has to get off. Okay. We had Justin Showell, who is an actor extraordinaire who's in Hamilton. He was just on the show a couple of weeks ago. He submitted This Christmas, The Preacher's Wife, Best Man Holiday, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the live action one with Jim Carrey, and The Santa Claus. Now, there's been three iterations, I think, of the Grinch, right? So there's the original cartoon, the live action one with Jim Carrey, and I think it's Benedict Cumberbatch does the voice of the DreamWorks version, right? Yeah. Now, of those three, I do like the live action one the best, I think. I think no other actor could have portrayed the Grinch better than Jim Carrey, in my opinion.
So I like the original animated one, and one of my favorite parts is when the Grinch smiles and his smile like curls up in like a weird evil smirk.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What's his name? Oh my God, now I can't think. Is it Tim Curry from Home Alone? So Home Alone, Lost in New York, whatever that is.
Yeah.
He smiles and he does that Grinch smile. He could have played the Grinch because that smile. No human being should be able to like do that, but he does.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
and obviously he was a little bit longer in the tooth than Jim Carrey, but I think he would have done a great job as a live action Grinch just because that smile, like it's so
just that smile would have nailed it.
Yeah, like that is like to me, that's the Grinch of like that evil like smirk when he like curls up and he does it so perfectly. So yeah, I do love the original animated feature. It just that's to me is the Grinch. That it's like my childhood.
I get that. Yeah.
I'm wearing right now.
There you go. You see, you're biased. We also had an actor who was on one of our very first episodes of PopCultX, and that's Brendan McNamara. He was in Louder Milk and a few other things. Now he submitted Die Hard, Gremlins, Muppet Christmas Carol, A Christmas Story, and The Shining. So,
The Shining.
See, that's an interesting one. The Shining. You see, it's like, is that a Christmas movie or is it just during winter? It's an anti-Christmas movie for sure because it's told during that time.
I love The Shining, and so I want to say that if they're like to make it popular in other season, like to the holiday season, I would say it is a Christmas movie. I don't necessarily think that other people define it as a Christmas movie, but that's a great choice because
Yeah.
I love that movie. So good.
And the one of the last ones we got was from the where I found my comic book that I mentioned earlier, Atomic Comics. They submitted Christmas Story again, Elf, Die Hard, Christmas with the Cranks, and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Now, wow, that's the first time someone has mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting because we were just talking about that earlier today. Now, is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or is it a Christmas movie?
It's a Christmas movie, right? Because it's how Jack Skellington like comes to terms with Christmas. I don't know. Like like people would probably be surprised that I'm not like a huge Nightmare Before Christmas fan because I'm like a weirdo and that would go along with my brand. But I probably have only seen it like all the way through like maybe once. Like barely. And I don't know if it's because they sing in it or why it didn't appeal to me. So like I can't really say that I know the plot 100%, but I thought that it had to do with him like trying to take over Christmas, but then finding the spirit of Christmas.
Well, yeah, I guess it's not so much that he found the spirit of Christmas. I think he came to terms with realizing that he's meant for Halloween. So it's okay to be that, and he can reinvent himself within that concept. He doesn't have to take over a different holiday just to find something new. Something like that. But I enjoyed that movie. I mean, I think if it's one of those movies where it can be both Halloween and Christmas. So you can watch it starting in October all the way through the end of the year.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like sometimes the people that are really into holidays, like that's the beginning of their season is Halloween, then Thanksgiving. It's just like this is their moment. Like they're so happy and excited. Whereas like Halloween, I'm really excited that it kind of fizzles out for Thanksgiving, and then Christmas or whatever you want to, holiday season. And then I get excited again, typically around New Year's Eve. So yeah, I could see that people start off with Christmas with Nightmare Before Christmas and then just kind of hold on to that excitement until the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. I can get that. I mean, I think Thanksgiving gets overlooked so much in the stores. Like, I think most stores had like their Christmas decorations up in September this year for the selling and everything. But my favorite Thanksgiving movie is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Kind of has to be. It's like probably one of the only movies catered towards Thanksgiving. Even though we're not talking about Thanksgiving, but we're giving it a little bit of spotlight.
One of my favorite movies that has no one mentioned on this list is Four Christmases with Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn. I don't like Reese Witherspoon, but I will overlook it to be able to that movie. Because I just love the idea of like a married couple trying to avoid their families and getting caught and then having to do 4 Christmases is just like such a relatable concept.
Like, damn it, now we got to go to all 4. Yeah, I totally hear that. I also asked out on Twitter if anyone had their favorites, and the screenwriter for a new Christmas movie called Violent Night, his name is Pat Casey. He responded with a couple of movies. So he said Christmas, Bloody Christmas, which I guess is another new movie this year. The Ref with Dennis Leary. That's an interesting choice. I like that movie. I remember watching it when I was younger, and Dennis Leary in his fast, rambling style. It was just really interesting. One I got to rewatch as well. And he also said Rare Exports, which I don't think I've heard of, and Scrooged.
I'll have to check out Rare Exports. I'm pulling that up now because that sounds interesting. So that looks like, is it an 80? It looks like it's kind of 80s movie, but then it looks like it's modern. So that came out in 2010 and it's horror fantasy.
Oh, nice.
It's about a young boy and his friend who go to this mountain drilling project in Finland and uncover the tomb of Santa Claus. However, there's an evil Santa, much unlike the Cherry Saint Nick of legend. So it's like an evil Santa. That's
nice.
Kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. I have to watch that one.
Yeah. One of the things that people have been talking about, a couple of our friends mentioned Santa Claus. I guess there's a new Santa Claus movie on Disney. And I don't know if
Yeah.
you've heard of like the controversy of the elves want to welcome Santa, so they're like they lift up these signs that say, I think it says, we love instead of Santa, we love Satan. So all the conservative Christians are like, oh, they're putting it in your face. They're admitting it. They love Satan. And it's like, do you not have a sense of humor? It's funny because these elves are misspelling
Hmm.
Santa, and Santa and Satan are like the same letters just mixed up. Like it's a
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah. It's right over their head, I guess.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
Tim Allen is like super mega conservative. So like, why
Hmm.
would he allow that if that was really the case? Like, it just the conspiracy theories and just crack me up. Like I almost wanted to like ask, like, should we do it? I don't want like a political conspiracy, but right now a lot of people are talking about Britney Spears and God knows what is going on with her and like all these crazy conspiracies on TikTok. So I was like, I would like to see what a guest who has gone down that rabbit hole, what they think, because it's like it's so crazy to me that people are analyzing video and saying like, oh, like I didn't even know this. Did you know that there's an international sign for help? Like if you take a picture with your fist like this, that means that you're like in distress, particularly if you're a woman, and then like
Hmm.
you might be a victim of like domestic violence or some other thing. And then this is like you telling your friends, like, I have to like contact me because
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
and there's a picture where Britney Spears is like holding her hands like that. And they're like, oh, that's like obviously she's in trouble. And I don't know. It's really interesting to me because I hope what happens is that she just retires and she doesn't owe the fans to check in with them. Like I hope she's just
Hmm.
like, I've gone to live in Tahiti and I'm gonna get a tan and just enjoy my life.
Yeah.
And all the people that are obsessed with me, sorry, you're gonna have to get a new gig. I'm not gonna,
Right.
like, I don't owe you anything to check in with
Exactly.
you constantly, which is like kind of what they want, which is crazy. Like, let her live her life. Like, it's weird. I don't know. Totally off track, but I don't even know how I brought that up
I
talking
don't
about Christmas
recall.
movies, but it would be interesting to have a conspiracy theory person on.
That would
Because
be kind of crazy. Yeah, we could do that. Why
right,
not?
there's so many there. I mean, you could pick, I mean, so many.
There are so many.
I don't know if we want to give them the platform of like spreading their conspiracy theory, but it is interesting from a pop culture point of view that like conspiracy theories are like a huge thing now. Like
Hmm.
before, like when I was growing up, conspiracy theories were like Bigfoot, UFOs, like
Yeah,
fun stuff. Now it's like like wackiest stuff.
it
Like
is, and they're so fervent with their belief in it too. It's kind of scary. Yeah,
yeah,
like you said, growing up, it was like Bigfoot out there, tinfoil hat, because they're trying to read our minds and stuff. But now it's
yeah,
just at another level, and social media is just helping expand that theory and reaching more people. And those before it was like, okay, oh, that's that crazy guy, or I don't want to say crazy. That's the kook who lives down on the end of the house, at the end of the block. He believes
yeah,
in weird stuff. But now that person can reach all the other people via like a Facebook group or something. And that's, yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of scary.
yeah. It is. Um, Getting back to Christmas movies, the other one that I didn't think that I'm surprised people didn't mention was Krampus. I thought that's a really great
That is a great one.
anti-Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that legend or that like folktale of Krampus is really kind of cool and funny. Like kids getting punished for being bad.
Yeah.
It's such a like German kind of thing. I think I love the idea of like kids being held accountable for being brats. I think
Yeah.
that we need to bring that back.
Yeah. I agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah,
Not just all cold isn't just enough.
yeah, no, you need to get stolen by a Christmas demon.
Now, there is an animated film that no one mentioned that I really liked, and I think it came out last year, maybe on Netflix, called Klaus or
Oh
Claus,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
And that was really well done. It surprised me when I saw that. It's a story, of a toy maker who's a recluse, and he befriends this new postman, and they basically, start up the idea of giving gifts on Christmas or for the holiday tradition with that. And it's really good. It's really well done. I really enjoy that movie.
I can't think of any like other alternative type Christmas movies. Um, but like I would like to be more because there was a lot of consistent answers, like amongst the responses that we
Hmm.
got. So I think that people like it would be cool to see more um new classics being made. Let me put
Yeah.
it that way. Because we've had like some of those classics for a while now, like Christmas Story,
Hey,
and
that's why I said Spirited. Hello.
yeah, yeah, like it. I mean, do you think that that's going to be like a new classic?
If you can stand musicals, yeah, I think so. It's really well done.
Okay, let me check it out.
Yeah, you should check it out. And I'll say my final one. It's not a movie, but it's an episode of Ted Lasso that came out last year in season 2. It's called Carol of the Bells, the episode, and it's Christmas based, and they pull a lot from like Love Actually. Um, they do
Oh,
a lot of
that like
stuff.
that's a Christmas movie that no one mentioned.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
It's Love Actually was. I've already watched it this year.
Yeah.
It's an interesting movie. They did a reunion, like what's the Diane Sawyer did like a interview with all the cast, whatnot,
Oh, cool.
and it was pretty cool. So we went and watched that afterwards, and it's a fun movie. It's really the first of its kind for a rom com that takes interweaves like 7 different stories. I mean, we've
Yeah.
seen that before in different kinds of movies, but that was like the first rom com that did it, I think.
Mhm.
But that Ted Lasso, Carol of the Bells was just such a great episode. It had everything you'd want from like a Christmas story. So it was heartwarming. It was, it had the not tear jerking, but it had like the moments where it made you feel. So yeah, I know you haven't seen Ted Lasso that
Yeah,
much.
I have to catch up because it's been a
Yeah.
while.
So go watch Carol of the Bells. Just go. I think it's like episode 5 or something like that of season 2. Just go watch that. It's really good.
Yeah, if we're bringing up TV episodes of holiday episodes, probably some of my favorite are on American Dad. American Dad, the family, the Smith family, kind of traditionally always get in a fight with Santa Claus and his elves, and then his dad ends up becoming Krampus. So
Okay.
like it's like a plot that's been put on like a couple different Christmas episodes, with like fighting with Santa. The dad becomes Krampus. So like they do some really funny stuff um, with Christmas, and definitely like adult humor
Mhm.
and kind of anti-Christmas stuff. So it's
Yeah.
really funny. Like if you're a fan of American Dad, check it out. If not, those are like probably like a collection of animated ones that I would recommend. Like definitely The Simpsons, all their holiday like Christmas
Hmm.
specials. And then American Dad has some really good ones just because it's a little like the humor is a little bit more adult.
Well, Family Guy as well. So, Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
They also do like one where like Santa goes crazy or he's deprived and the reindeers become cannibalistic, and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird because I went from Simpsons and like held strong onto The Simpsons and then went to American Dad and I could not get into Family Guy.
Interesting.
I just I don't know if it was I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. And it's very, I mean, American Dad is very similar. Um,
Hmm.
I think it's like their random pop culture references that they make that are like so random that it's like, what? I don't know.
Huh?
Yeah. But American Dad, I think it's Roger too. Like, I just love Roger as a character.
Okay.
Hilarious. Best
Yeah.
character.
So a bonus question for you,
Yeah.
not movies. Do you have a favorite Christmas song?
Good question. I think I do. I would say that like that Peanuts classic, like
Oh
jazz,
yeah, 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 yeah.
whatever
Mhm.
that is, that's probably my favorite because I don't know why, but to me it's very melancholy. Like it's kind of sad at the same time. Um, and like Christmassy, but I don't know if it's because like the little kids sing. I don't know what about it, but it's very sad and melancholy. Like it just has a vibe that I like,
Mhm.
versus like the upbeat Christmas, traditional Christmas song. Like I would say Silent Night's probably my favorite song based on like any artist. I'm very anti Mariah Carey. I don't want to hear her album ever again. I don't want to hear her sing it. Well, I don't want to hear her try to sing it because I don't think she really can sing it anymore. Um, But Kelly Clarkson, one of her songs is probably Kelly Clarkson and Sia have two albums that are probably like my new classics. If you haven't heard them, like definitely check them out. Sia has an incredible, unique voice, and Kelly Clarkson is just like a great, well-rounded singer that can sing anything. And she has some really cool Christmas songs that are just like fun, upbeat. Like I think it hopefully will overtake Mariah Carey because I'm very tired of that song.
There was a song by a female fronted rock band called The Waitresses called Christmas Rapping. It came out in 1981. I enjoy that song. The Killers put out a Christmas song, if you want to call it that, with that they did with Jimmy Kimmel called Joel the Christmas Cole. I think it's something like that. And it's really fun. If you haven't heard that one, that's really enjoyable. But speaking of like female singers, like you mentioned, Norah Jones put out a Christmas album, I think last year, that was really good.
Yeah. Fiona Apple has a good Christmas album. She does a really good Frosty the Snowman, like sort of jazzy Fiona Apple version of that song.
Oh, cool. Okay.
The Vandals, Oi to the World, which was no doubt that's probably one of my favorite. I'm very I miss No Doubt a lot. I wish they would come back. But that's probably one of my favorite like pop punk song covers. And also what's the other one? That's like the We Are the World one. Do They Know It's Christmas?
The one by Band-Aid, right?
Yeah, I like that one too because it has like all the English pop stars coming together and doing a charity. So that one,
I always thought that was a weird song, though. I mean, do they even know it's Christmas? It's like, what do you mean by that?
It's a little like condescending and like maybe a little cringy because like all these good people are singing about starving people in Africa, but their heart was in the right place, and I like it.
Okay,
I like watching the video, like all like the like famous people when they were young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. A little nostalgia there. Well, I think that's all I have for Christmas movies. I know we probably left a lot on the table. I know like Daddy's Home with Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell. They made a sequel to it too. So I know we left.
I can't with Mark Wahlberg. We need to have like a list of like top 10 people that Gabe hates.
We do it David Letterman style.
There's so many. I don't know if they could fit on a top 10, but Mark Wahlberg is one of those like he made a movie about a priest and it's like, are you for real? Like the life that you've led. You made a movie about a priest. Like
he's an actor though. I mean, he's pretending, right?
Yeah, he's definitely pretending to be like a Catholic.
Exactly.
I can't. It's a whole can of worms that I would get into, but I hate that pandering, like that. When people try to make like wholesome family films, and it's just that they're pandering so hard to try to be to make it a thing, and it's like
Yeah, I hear you. Well, then, if that's all, I think we'll wrap up this episode by saying continued thank you to everyone for supporting us, for tuning in, for watching, for liking, sharing. This is our final episode of 2022. So next time, yes, it is. I didn't tell you about that. So
this just went by.
Yeah, it did. So we'll be wrapping up season 2 of PopCultX as well. So next year, 2023, we'll be coming back at you with a whole slew of fun guests and just a whole, new way of doing things. Hopefully we'll be mixing it up, keeping you guys on your toes, keeping Gabe on his toes. I'm just going to throw stuff at him at random just to see what he does. And yeah, so thank you everyone again. Gabe, any last words?
No, I can't believe that. I'm shocked that it's the end of the year already. But yeah, thank you to everyone that has participated in our podcast, all the guests that we've had. We've had some amazing guests that were very interesting to talk to. And here's to many more. Good luck, and I guess good wishes or well wishes to everyone that participated on the show. Wishing everyone the best for 2023.
Yeah. So stay safe, everyone. Have a happy new year.
We'll see you.